So I don't think people are overreacting to the loss because it was a bad loss. But I think some people are probably overreacting to what it means for the team as a whole because Patrick Mahomes makes that type of mistake maybe once a season. And I think everybody agrees if that play doesn't happen, then the Chiefs win that game. And we're sitting pretty today.
Amateur Hour Chiefs Podcast. Amateur Hour Chiefs Podcast. Amateur Hour Podcast on KC Sports Network. Amateur on KC Sports Network. Hour on KC Sports Network. Podcast on KC Sports Net. We're gonna talk Chiefs football for you, and you, and you, and you.
What is this, amateur hour?
Yeah, I ain't no Superman businessman like you. You know, I'm just an
amateur,
I suppose.
Amateur hour
Is what's happening.
Amateur hour
Is what's happening.
Thanks for listening to KC Sports Network, proudly presented by Emprise Bank. If you're thinking about starting a business or know someone who is, check out Emprise Bank's SBA loans. It's always good to know your options, and they can be your partner in possible.
Yeah, that's right, folks. The show is called Amateur Hour. I'm Ryan Scott Hall, and joining me today, a man who may have blown a few two-score leads in his career, is Dirkness.
So, sorry, I was busy there. That was for the YouTubers.
Man, yeah, for the viewing audience, a great visual gag from his Dirkness. But boy, we've been a podcast for so long. I feel like I need to tell our friends and amateurs out there that you were picking your nose.
But I didn't eat it. How many people were sitting there at home like, come on, eat it. Come on. It was like he was flirting with it. He was like dropping a little like.
I mean, look, who among us has not dug in their nose? I think honestly,
dug in their nose.
I felt bad, and one of my favorite podcasts, the Ringer NFL show, or sorry, the Ringer Fantasy Football show. They were kind of joking about how these clips, like when they show that, most of them are like pre-recorded and they like bank a bunch of them. The camera guys do. And so they were like, honestly, this is just NBC doing Trevor Lawrence dirty. Like they didn't have to do that. It wasn't live. They chose to put that clip out there. And man, that's rough. If that's
very, very reminiscent of Chase Daniel, who did it against Nebraska. Actually, I remember watching the game live. I'm like, whoa, look at that. And that one's gone. That one's got very viral. One of the early
how
days.
old were you at the time? I guess if it was Chase Daniel against Nebraska, you were probably 21, 20,
mid 2000, 2005, 2006 in there somewhere.
Okay. And you were that shocked that someone was picking his nose?
I wasn't shocked. I just enjoyed it.
Like, whoa! Look at that! He's picking his nose. That's how bad it is.
I mean, I'm 40 years old now, and I enjoyed it the hell out of it this week. So, of course, I'm going to enjoy it in my 20s.
Welcome again, folks, to Amateur Hour. Dirk, what's your big thing?
That's right. Step aside, Diggler. There's a new Dirk in town with an even bigger thing. So I kept seeing people kind of stumbling over themselves after watching that game, seeing all the stats come out. Like, how the hell did the Chiefs lose this game? Like, how? So I just kind of want to tackle what this loss meant and kind of give my 2 cents here. Because I think most everybody watching that game agreed the Chiefs were the better team, which is what makes it a bad loss. A supremely frustrating loss with lots of mistakes. A game they had no business losing. A game we've almost never seen this iteration of the Chiefs actually lose. So far this season, we've seen an actual almost comical regression to the mean in close games. Chiefs and games decided by 8 points or fewer from week 17 of 2023 through all of the 2024 season. The Chiefs went 17-0 in those close games. So far this season, the Chiefs in games decided by 8 points or fewer, 0-3. The nerds tried to warn us all. We didn't want to listen. But back to the original question, how did the Chiefs lose? While there's always a multitude of answers to that question, and this game is no different, the main reason is pretty obvious to me. It's extremely hard to overcome a 100-yard pick six. It is by definition the most impactful play that can be made in a football game, or at least 2 yards shy of it because they snapped this one at the 3-yard line instead of the 1. But taking 7 points off the board on one end and adding 7 points to the other end, you're typically going to lose the game. In fact, a quick deep dive. No intro. Can't do it this early, but a quick deep dive. Teams committing a turnover, return for a touchdown on a play snapped from inside the opponent's 3-yard line. So these are plays, just like the Chiefs did, they snapped it from the 3-yard line in this game, from either the 1, 2, or 3. Teams in those types of games go all the way back to 1978. Teams are 6-26 overall when they commit this type of play, and turnover for a touchdown from inside the 3-yard line. And those wins, one of them's an 18-point lead in the fourth quarter, doesn't matter. One of them's a 20-point lead in the third quarter, doesn't matter. One of them's a 17-point lead in the fourth quarter. So you can see why they still went on to win the game, just a big mistake in a game they were dominating. 2 other wins, the first score of the game. So it's just very, very tough to win that type of game. Some notable losses, 4 of the last 6 are actually Chiefs games. We had the Monday night, Stumblerooski, obviously. Jalen Watson versus the Chargers. Picking off Justin Herbert. Bashad Breeland versus the Lions early on in 2019, 100-yard pick six. And back to 2013, Sean Smith picking off our good buddy Jeff Fulltime for a 100-yard pick six. Who could forget that game? A game the Chiefs had no business winning. Fine. That's how these games go. That play is the reason why we lost. It's very difficult to win a game when you have a 100-yard pick six like that. So I think people are kind of blending two conversations, like how did we lose versus who should we blame? And people don't want to put blame on Mahomes, understandably so, because he's the fucking man and he played brilliant in this game outside of that play. So they're kind of looking past the importance of that play, I think. So we can get to the blame game here soon because I'm not interested in blaming Mahomes either. But I wanted to say all of that to say that's why I don't think this loss is an indictment on the team, because if Mahomes doesn't make that mistake, then I believe they win this game handily. And they look good. Like optically, this is what we wanted to see from the Chiefs for a few years now. Like we saw it on this game in Monday night. They looked really good. Crisp offense, clean pockets, throwing the ball downfield. We saw all of that. So I don't think people are overreacting to the loss because it was a bad loss. But I think some people are probably overreacting to what it means for the team as a whole, because Patrick Mahomes makes that type of mistake maybe once a season. And I think everybody agrees if that play doesn't happen, then the Chiefs win that game, and we're sitting pretty today.
Yeah, sure.
Podcast over?
I mean, look, I don't know, man. I try to not get too high or too low. But, you know, I'm still a pretty emotional creature. It's honestly a really good thing that we don't do post game anymore.
That would have
because it's just really like one regrettable take after another in the moment, you know. I never listened to it this way. I usually check out the KCSN post game. I did not do it this week. I was just like, I was too pissed right after the game, and then the morning after, I was just like, I can't. I'm kind of over it now, and I don't want to go back. So I just never. Yeah. Look, I'll start with the Jags. Tougher than I ever would have imagined. That is a team that I want to like kind of reverse engineer the Chiefs had no business losing this game. When I think about that, as far as the Jaguars are concerned, like the Jags don't do that. You know, they very rarely win games that they shouldn't. And so like, I kind of want to give them credit a little bit there.
I mean, shades of week 1, right? The Chargers don't win games like that.
Right.
And the Chiefs always win these type of games. So we've had 2 just like turn on their head moments so far this season, which is why we're sitting at 2-3 right now.
And what's interesting, I guess, is that to me, the Chargers thing felt more real, like more sustainable than this. Like, I mean, we're all talking about like, well, if you change any one of these 14 plays, then the Chiefs win by 2 scores. Like, you know, it seems like the Chiefs really gave this one away. And in that game against the Chargers, I think they had shots, but like they were playing from behind. And the Chargers ended up, I think, playing a very good football game. I was not impressed largely by the Jaguars, and they scored 31 points. And so like there's I don't know, man. I think that Liam Cohen might be awesome. I don't know if that's a hot take. I'm not trying to give a hot take, but I think he might be awesome. But really, what surprises me is this defense, because I look at the roster, I look at the names, and I don't think it's a very impressive collection of talent. But they went from, I don't know if you caught this stat during the game, they had 9 takeaways all of last season, and they're up to 14 after 5 games. Like, I mean,
and that's another thing. That's the other stat that nerds always warn you about, that just they can regression to the mean. Close games and turnovers like that. They're just, you can't really predict how that's going to be from one year to the next, because it'll just turn on its head for seemingly no reason. It's just kind of random.
Yeah. Let me ask you this. After watching 60 minutes of football, where the team you know better than anybody in the world ends up losing this wonky game to Jacksonville, like, if you see the Jags in the playoffs, what's the feeling going into that game? Is it they've beaten us before so they can do it again? Or I can't wait to kick this team's ass because we've already, you know, done it?
I love that question, because that was one of like my first thoughts when I'm going on like my post-game walk. I'm like, man, if we see this game in the playoffs again, if we see this team in the playoffs again, we're gonna fuck them up. We are gonna fuck them up. And I was like, man, the last time I really felt like that was the Bengals in 2021 when we lost that game to them, and we shouldn't have. And then we're like, if we see them again in the playoffs, and then we did, and then we had probably the worst loss of the Mahomes era in that. So I don't want to make like that same mistake, because I've uttered those exact same words. I can remember us on this podcast just being like, please just give us them again. Give them to us again. When there's no chance. Coming to Arrowhead, like, yeah, bring it on. And it didn't turn out. So I do not want to make that mistake, but I would be, I can't say that I wouldn't be ultra confident going into that game, because I would be, because I just think the Chiefs are on a different level than the Jags, which is, that's part of the reason I was so confident coming into this game. Like their defense shouldn't be that good, but they rely on turnovers. And I was like, well, the Chiefs can play a clean game, like maybe give them 1, but they're not going to, what are the Jags at, like 3 a game or so coming in? They're not going to do that. Unless we just have random fumbles or something. But we mostly play clean. We just have the one big mistake that turns into a giant mistake because of the circumstances around it. And so I just felt, I was as confident in this type of game as I've been in any game over the last handful of years. Like, I just thought this was a type of game that the Chiefs win. I didn't think the Jags would be ready. I thought Trevor would be erratic, kind of give us a few, like he's just too inconsistent to go toe to toe. Like Justin Herbert, like that's kind of maybe why the Chargers felt more legit, because like you've kind of seen these glimpses from Herbert before. Like he can have these games where he takes over, like he has that kind of talent. Whereas Trevor, maybe we've seen it, but we've seen so many years of inconsistent play that it's just like it's hard to count on him for an entire game. And he did have his ups and downs. Like we saw them throughout the game, and we just couldn't quite take advantage of them, or they overcame them. So credit to them. I was ultra confident going to this game. Everything that it was at 14-0, when we're seeing a bullshit pass interference call completely made up, and a dropped interception where Tranquil actually breaks it up from Bolton's hands, I think. We're that's it, up to that moment. That was everything I was expecting to see from this game, and then from right then, takes a wild turn, wild turn, and that's just what can happen in the NFL.
Yeah. We're gonna take a break, and on the other side, we're gonna have a different conversation.
I'm Brett Goodwin, one of the owners of The Learning Tree. The Learning Tree is a neighborhood toy store in Prairie Village, Kansas. This has been here in this location since 2000s, and my husband Alan and I purchased the store in 2023. Alan and I grew up in families where we've always wanted to have a business together. Alan grew up, for instance, his parents had a jewelry store. I worked in a local toy store here in Prairie Village when I was growing up. When this opportunity happened in 2023, we knew right away we wanted to contact them and pursue the store. We wouldn't have been able to get the store without the team at Emprise Bank. From the day we contacted them, they knew what we needed to do, which was very helpful. I would absolutely recommend the team at Emprise Bank to anyone looking to secure a business. We worked with Emprise from day one. They were extremely helpful. They were always great resources. We talk to them frequently. They know the area. They're very friendly. We know who we're going to talk with, and they know what we need to do. We hope we'll see you at the Learning Tree.
Looking to remodel your home and in search of a top quality company to do the job? Contact Elenco. Since 1986, Elenco has been the remodeler of choice for customers throughout Kansas and Missouri. As a family-owned and operated business, Elenco provides customers top-quality products and unbeatable service straight from their family to yours. From windows and doors to siding, insulation, and bathroom renovations, there's no need that Elenco can't meet and exceed. Elenco only installs products that have proven track records of success, such as the Kohler Luckstone shower system. Elenco's installers are factory-trained professionals who know how to get the job done, not only quickly, but flawlessly. Whether you're located in Kansas City, Topeka, Wichita, or a rural town in northeastern Kansas or western Missouri, Elenco will come to you. Go to elencohome.com for more information. That's ALENCO home.com. Again, elencohome.com for more information and contact them about all your home improvement needs.
I want to just zoom out for a second, Dirk, because I heard you say something and I kind of got stuck there. You said that the Chiefs are like in a different class from the Jags, like they're on a different tier, basically.
Yeah.
Who's the best team in the AFC?
I mean, Vegas would tell you the Bills. I mean, I would still say the Chiefs, I guess. I don't. If you're saying who I would pick to win the AFC, I would still go with the Chiefs because I still think they can get there. And then I trust them more than any other team that's in the pool. Mm-hmm. So I guess if you want me to answer it that way, I would still lean the Chiefs, but they are one more loss away from me questioning that because the path is going to get infinitely harder than, like, say, the Bills' path will be to the Super Bowl. So if that happens, if we lose the Lions on Sunday and all of a sudden we're 2 games behind 2 different teams in the division, then I might say the Bills just because their path would be that much easier. But if you're telling me there's an AFC Championship game, Chiefs at Bills, I will be confident going into that game almost no matter what we see this season, barring the Chiefs' health.
I was kind of asking rhetorical questions
a
little bit. Like, right, yeah, just go back to picking your nose. Look, honestly, man, I asked the question because it's the only reason that I'm not worried. It's the only reason. Because, like, I can look at the play and I can look at all these mistakes and I want to tell myself, well, you know what? Like, they're going to figure it out, you know. I'm sure that they will. And I want to feel that. I don't think that enough about the team has changed or enough about the rest of the league has changed that suddenly, well, the Chiefs are just falling behind. Like, I know that things happen fast in the NFL, sure. But to me, I despite seeing a lot of things that scare me, I'm not worried because I don't see anybody who is flat out better than the Chiefs. And I think that I can even say that about both conferences. Like, there's not a team where I'm just like, they're better than us. I don't see that. I think I would have maybe thought it like as we entered the season about the Eagles. And the way that they're playing right now, there's no way that anybody could believe that. And so even though the Chiefs are at 2-3 and they're staring at a daunting schedule, I think myself and a lot of people will probably say, well, like, but who's better? You know, but we can say this confidently. You mentioned Buffalo and like their path. Who knows what happens as far as injuries and all the different things that happen over the course of a season. But I think, you know, reasonable minds can look at the path that Buffalo got in terms of their schedule. We talked about how they didn't have to go further west than like Houston all year. I think Houston is their furthest road trip. They don't even enter into the West Coast time zone, the Pacific time zone, the entire season. And so it's laid out for Buffalo to have the easiest path, and it really should be in many ways their year, you know. But I don't know, man. And look, there's so many things that happened in this game that I think deserve talking about.
Well, yeah. I want to say here real quick, because maybe the one team that could kind of persuade you that is Detroit. I mean, if Detroit comes into Arrowhead and handily beats the Chiefs, maybe you'd say, okay, they might be the top team in the NFL, despite what we saw in week 1. I mean, if they're coming in and handling the Chiefs with their record and what they've done to other teams, like they might be the team that you put like in that area. But it just goes to say that Chiefs got some big boy football games coming up now. And, you know, my confidence in the whole of the team, in the team's ability, does not mean that they are going to skate through here. Like this loss didn't mean nothing. As Mahomes said, we've lost too many games already, and shit can turn sideways real quick. I mean, you win one more game like that you're supposed to win, all of a sudden you're in a lot of trouble. I mean, 2-4 very much alive here. Looking at two different teams in the division for the first time in how long? Like suddenly making the playoffs becomes a question mark with maybe not a top-heavy AFC, but like what's looking like a surging middle class in the AFC. And that position they've put themselves in with losing these games, you can't afford to lose more games like that. Whereas, you know, last year we're just kind of, you know, la-di-daing through the regular season. If we drop a game in there, who really cares? Like we've only lost one game all season. Like we're just playing with house money the entire season. Chiefs have some big football games coming up that they cannot afford to blow like they did this.
Yeah. I mean, this game, this loss, I mean, if nothing else, it really it like restricts that margin of error. You know, like this is a game you shouldn't have lost. And so when you drop too many of those early in the year, it means that you're putting a lot of pressure on yourself, you know, down the back stretch of the season. And we've seen, I don't know if I would call them good teams, but like we've seen the Bengals do this to themselves where they start, you know, 1-3, 1-4. And then they can't get out of it over the course of the season. They miss the playoffs altogether. And people are like, oh, the Bengals deserve to be in because they're playing such good football. And it's like, but you know, screwed the pooch coming out of the gate. I don't think the Chiefs are buried, but if they play poorly down the stretch, I mean, you say they lose to the Lions, they're 2-4. And you know what is not far away from 2-4, Dirk? 3-7. Like, it's not that far away. I just want to caution people that like the Chiefs are too good to play that poorly and to have that record. But the way the Chiefs have played in these games, if we're not talking about past year's reputation, we're talking about 2025. I don't think that anybody should just be feeling confident that like, oh yeah, there's no way the Chiefs are going to drop 4 of their next 5 or whatever it is, because they're not playing all that great. And we'll talk about the offense, right? You mentioned in your big thing, Dirk, my one little quibble was that like what we saw was what we've wanted to see for a long time. And the way that you phrased it was almost like you're talking about from the Chiefs. And I'm sorry, Dirk, it's not what you want to see from the Chiefs. We saw what we wanted to see from the Chiefs offense, sure. the offense looked good. I don't believe the Chiefs defense looked good, and the Chiefs special teams were an absolute embarrassment. So yes, the Chiefs offense played good, and the Chiefs offense, as they go, the team tends to go. They are kind of the royal we. If Mahomes plays well, then the Chiefs are going to win. But that was not a good effort, top to bottom, 53 and coaching staff and everything. Like they have some big mistakes, man, big time, dumb shit throughout that game, over and over again.
Oh yeah, no, it's a very fair retort, and it's kind of like it's almost like a commentary on like how we view teams. Like we just. And I usually don't fall trap to this, but and I will admit that I kind of did with that statement, because you're kind of judging the team based off how the offense looks. Like if a team loses 44-41, you're like, well, we looked good. It was just a great game. We just happened to lose. You lose 13-10, you're like, what the fuck is wrong with this team? Like we look terrible. And it's just like, I mean, it's just think of like Iowa in college football. Like people think they're just like an absolute, sorry, stop the mic. They're an absolute joke because of, the scores they put up and their putrid offense, but like they're 8-4 every single year. Like they win football games playing the way they do. You can win football games different ways. So it's almost kind of like karma for all the people saying like, I don't care if the Chiefs win. I just want them to be fun again. And it was kind of like the Chiefs were fun again, but we didn't quite win. On this note, I kind of want to highlight some small ball streaks that are now dead after this game, because Chiefs are back, but we lost the small ball. How about a loss when winning the turnover battle? We have not done that since week 6 of 2019. I think it's 34 straight games. I didn't put the number, 33 or 34 straight games. That's absurd. How about one score wins? I already mentioned this one, but deserves re-mentioning. From 17-0, winning 17 one-score games in a row, to 0-3 this season. How about a 14-point lead? Chiefs had won 23 straight games, win leading by 14, and playing this small ball style of football and leaning into their defense. And yet here we are with a great offense in this game, a questionable defense in this game, and we blow a 14-point lead. So one more for you. Chiefs only lost under Andy Reid when outgained by 150 yards and lost 2019 Titans. People lost their minds after that game, kind of declared the season over. Yada, yada, yada. They didn't lose another game that season and won the first Super Bowl in 50 years. So that's maybe a little positive sign there. But all these little streaks that like these types of games, the Chiefs have been winning, and they did not this time. And looking at the questionable defense in that game is a very, very fair reasoning as to why.
I think it took a real group effort out there. I don't know. You mentioned like we even have to at least address the pick 6 with Patrick. You don't want to blame him, but like literally no one is blameless. And I think like let's just look at the big mistakes. So it starts with, as you mentioned, the dropped interception. That really is like, it kind of feels like a turning point in the game for whatever reason, because they picked that off and
the floodgates might open. I mean, the offense goes down and score again, like up 3 scores, then you're super confident.
So you start with that, and that at that point the Chiefs are up 14-0. They've got a chance to really open the floodgates. They dropped that interception, and I believe the Jags went on to score. And that's when it got cut to 14-7. It ends with the DPI on Connor. So we've got these 2 framing points, a dropped interception, and then at the end of the game, the final mistake, 3rd and 13, and Chamari Connor in man coverage on Brian Thomas Jr. in a gotta have it short field. And he's just got his back to the play. Honestly, shouldn't have been lined up there. And don't get me wrong, we are going to talk about the final play. I'm not pretending like there weren't mistakes made there too, but sandwiched in between those.
Sorry, definitely not the final mistake. I was like, I think there's still a couple more mistakes to come after that. But
had it not been for Connor's mistake, then we wouldn't have had the others. And really, it's not even Connor's mistake, man. I mean, it is, but like, Spags, buddy. Dude, Dirk, I don't know if you heard this. Like, I know that people are talking about Noel Williams only got 4 snaps.
Yep.
As we should. It's a wild number. And I think it's inexplicable.
Yeah.
Like, what would you say, Steve? Did he get in trouble? Because if he didn't get in trouble, then what are you doing? It doesn't make sense, man.
My only explanation would be like, they were worried about the Jags running game, which has been, the running game has been kind of better than their passing game so far this year. So you kind of want like a big box in there. So you're getting Shamari Connor in there and all, but that's late in the game. I mean, that's not really, I mean, I'm assuming Shamari Connor's in there every snap playing slot on that final drive. So there's no excuse. That excuse doesn't line up with how they ran the end of the game. Like, you would have much preferred to see Noel Williams and out there with McDuffie in the slot, obviously.
I think what is scarier to me, it feels very predictable. When I heard this part of it, the 4 snaps that Noel Williams was on the field are the only 4 times that McDuffie played in the slot. He never saw the slot unless Noel Williams was on the field. And like, I don't know if that is going to be a tendency, if it's something that teams can pick up on, or so if it tells you something, I don't know. But like, I am bothered that the only personnel package in which Trent McDuffie sees the slot is if this rookie corner is on the field. Like, maybe if Fulton is healthy, and it sounds like he was a full participant in practice today. So we're hoping that maybe he's ready for this Lions game. But like, McDuffie should be able to, honestly, and I don't know if he has this relationship with Spags yet. If Chris Jones can sit there and walk back and forth on that defensive line and say, I want to be in this spot, or I need to cover this guy, or I'm going to do this and that, McDuffie should be able to pick his spots too. The guy knows the coverage as well as anybody out there. He's going to help guys. He's going to communicate. I don't think he's going to put the team in a bad position. If he can look at the field and say, I need to be in the slot on this play because of where the ball's going to go. I mean, quarterbacks can react a little bit more based on DBs doing some of that stuff. But man, I'm really frustrated with that. The 4 snaps for Noel Williams and meaning that those are the only 4 slot snaps for McDuffie, that is bad. And Shamari Connor got beat like a fucking drum, man. Like Lawrence targeted him. And we knew that would be the case, even if it's a quarterback like Trevor Lawrence, who maybe isn't the most advanced. Like, I still just, you're opening yourself up, man. And on 3rd and 13 in the red zone, like, I get you mentioned like the tackling or something, but I don't know, man. I don't know. It's not like Noel Williams isn't physical. It's not like McDuffie isn't a great tackler.
Yeah, I think just getting a little heavier in the box, I guess. But it also reminded me of L'Jarius Sneed telling Spags that he wanted to follow number 1 receivers at the start of 2023, which was kind of what turned out to be the best defense in the NFL, largely because of that reason that apparently Sneed came up with and went to Spags about. But yeah, I mean, the frustration, Noel Williams, it's not like he's playing a ton of snaps in other games, but I'm kind of looking at a chart here that our guy Chase Snyder did on Twitter. 0 snaps against the Chargers. That's a game where Fulton played but got hurt in that game. Is that right?
I want to say that's right.
I think he played like 4 snaps or something, and then, or just maybe played sparingly. Just kind of, it was like kind of weird. But 0 snaps for Noel Williams in that game. Obviously, the worst defensive effort of the season from the Chiefs. And then 8 snaps in the next game against the Eagles. They're not in 3 wide a lot. They weren't throwing it around a lot, so not much there. 19 against the Giants, 20 against the Ravens. Pass defense looks much better, markedly improved in those games. And then for whatever reason, back into this game against the Jags, down to 4 snaps. And so it's kind of like the worst performances of the defense are these 2 games by far where he's not playing. And it's not even like a Noel Williams point, although I think Noel Williams has looked great. So maybe it is kind of a Noel Williams point, but it is just about who they're putting in that slot cornerback position. And Spags just can't get it to his fucking mind. Why can't he figure this out? I don't understand. I thought we had it figured out. Like 3 weeks of effort here. We got to figure it out. Passing downs. Let's mix it up. Get McDuffie in the slot here. It's a much better look for this defense. And it seems like we were there and then just regress back to what we were doing before. And I can't explain it. I have no explanation for it.
There are more mistakes. We'll get to them after this break.
Chiefs Kingdom, I have got a question for you. What is your favorite touchdown? Well, for me, I can confidently say that my favorite touchdown, it's the next one, because with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL, every touchdown could bring you closer to cashing in. From the first touchdown score to anytime touchdown props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. From spreads to money lines, same-game parlays, regular parlays, you want it, DraftKings has got it. Here's the best part. Bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll get $200 in bonus bets instantly. I use DraftKings Sportsbook, and you should too. Your team hitting pay dirt pays out to you. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code KCSN. That's code KCSN to turn $5 into $200 in bonus bets if your bet wins. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, fees may apply in Illinois. 21 plus age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bet must win to receive reward. Minimum minus 500 odds required. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/audio.
Calling all Chiefs fans, you could be on the field at the 50 inside GEHA Field for the official coin toss at a Chiefs home game this season. Visit Chiefs.com/GEHA now. Eager to win a chance to be on the field for a once-in-a-lifetime view of that pregame coin toss. Plus, you can score other exclusive prizes. Enter for a chance to win at Chiefs.com/GEHA. And of course, folks, GEHA is a proud partner of the Kansas City Chiefs. All right, Dirk. We got to talk about the special teams. They had 3 major gaffes in this game. And I think, look, I've really been trying to figure out like what to say and how to feel about the kicker. And this is the way that I'll frame it. I think what's most important about what's going on with Butker right now is that even before he made the mistake kicking the ball out of bounds, when he lined up for that last extra point, I thought he was going to fucking miss it. I was just sitting there. It's like, this is a pressure situation. He's made a mistake in every game. If he misses this, they can tie it and we go to overtime. We're up 3 right now. Like, we need this point to put pressure on the Jags. I thought he was going to miss it. And maybe I'm the only person that felt that way, but like that feels important to me, that my mind, he's missed enough lately that I'm like, I don't know if he's going to make this kick or not. That scares me. You know, he made it, and then I'm telling myself, oh shit, he's going to have his first clean game of the year. Like it never even entered my mind as a possibility that he would kick the ball out of bounds in that situation. And I've seen you say it looked like he was lining up to kick it out of bounds. And he did. And I'm like, so is this a toe thing? Well, like, is he saying, Harrison, I want you to kick it to this spot? Like on Madden, I get to pick, am I kicking it down the middle or to the left or to the right? And my coverage does something based on where I'm kicking it. right? Like, who knows? You know, but like, I don't know if there's communication there or it's just, this is our strategy. But then he was like squibbing it down the middle most of the night.
Yeah,
it didn't make sense. It did not make any sense.
If we finally got to see some low kicks from him, and something I've been really interested through is through this first 5 weeks of the NFL season is how teams are treating this kickoff, because typically you want to kick it. If you kick it high on a kickoff, it's to give your coverage team time to get down there and cover it. And you don't want to kick low because then your coverage team's way behind. But with the new kickoff rules where they're just lined up, they can go as soon as it hits the ground or a player. So kicking it high accomplishes nothing. Kicking it low, you can go if it hits the ground before it hits a player, and now all of a sudden you're creating chaos for the returner trying to pick up the ball while all the defenders or coverage teams coming down on them. And so it kind of creates a panic, and you just get situations where he's picking it up and the coverage team's kind of always on him inside the 20. So you're seeing smart teams really take advantage of it. I think it was the Panthers and Rams. The Rams kicker is doing a really good job of this. NFL teams will really come around on this. Regardless, he's kicking it low for most of the game. And then all of a sudden on that one, clearly tries to kick it high and to the sideline, which does seem like a called play to kick it there. I don't know why. I mean, I'm sure it turns out fine if he keeps it in bounds, but just boots it right the hell out of bounds. And we've seen this across the NFL like numerous times now in clutch kickoff situations when all these kickers can hit a 60-yard field goal, no problem now, but this fucking landing zone, and kickers just can't figure it out. It's 20 yards by 53.3 yards, and they just can't land the ball in it in clutch situations. It's like, I can't, it's too big. I can't do it. What do I do? So it was
okay. So
unbelievable error. I couldn't believe it. They probably win the game if they don't do it. They kick it off and hold them to the 25 or something, or maybe get a penalty on the kick return, like who know, like you know who. But yeah, it's a horrible mistake. I probably blame Butker for it more than Tobe, because clearly he's not going to call it kicking out of, if he called for it to kick out of bounds to like save, which I've had people in my mentions say it'll like, oh, just don't let him return it. Just kick out of bounds and let him take it before you. Like if he does that,
we were so scared of Bajal Tootin, they kicked it out of bounds on purpose.
Then you fire Tobe. If that's the reason, then you fire Tobe. But I assume just a bad mistake at a bad time in a season full of mistakes for Harrison Butker.
I can just like I was kind of in the aftermath, like on Tuesday, had some sleep, not as mad anymore. I imagined fans, and there were many Chiefs fans at this game. I imagined fans watching the ball and it goes out of bounds, but while it's in the air, they're like, oh no, too high, too hard, not too hard. Who gives a shit? It's gone. I'm Major League playing in my head while that's happening.
One of my favorites.
I just, Dirk, can look, if we could really like do bits on this and I wasn't like trapped in a very small corner of my daughter's nursery, this is the part where I would stand up and the camera would follow me and I'd lay down on the couch and I'd be like, welcome folks to the conspiracy couch. Cause that's where I want to go with Butker right now for a second, at least.
All right. Let's hear it.
Dirk,
what do we got?
Is this guy shaving points? Harrison Butker is costing the team in more ways than one. He's the highest paid kicker in the league. And it feels like he is costing the team games. He's missing kicks, which is taking points off the board. He's missed a kick in every game except for this one. And then in his very final swing of the leg, this dumbass gives the Jags a 60-yard field. Like why is Harrison Butker mad at the Chiefs? Like, is there some weird universe that we're living in where Clark Hunt is too liberal for Harrison Butker? Like, what is happening here? I don't understand. He can't be making these mistakes. He's doing it on purpose.
I needed to go way more like alt-right with the conspiracy here. Remember Trump had like a tweet about the new kickoff. He was very upset about the new kickoff.
Oh, yeah. It's not manly enough for him. It looks weird.
So maybe he's reaching out to Butker and he's like, I need you to destroy the new kickoff. Do everything you can to make it look foolish. Big moment, kick it out of bounds.
You know what? I buy it.
Yeah.
I buy it. It doesn't like he's had one season in his career when he was off and he got hurt in like the very first game on a bad field where a bunch of guys got hurt that night. And so the whole season he's tinkering with this and that, and he's not healthy, and the holds and Dustin Colquitt, talking about Tommy Townsend can't hold the ball, and like we have all these different things that happen throughout the whole season. And what happens the next year? Butker comes in healthy and is absolutely freaking nails on like every single kick all year long. He's the most accurate kicker in NFL history. And like there are things about Harrison Butker that I have not liked, but haven't really. I mean, whatever. Shut up and kick the ball. And I don't. It is very strange to me. He clearly has the yips, man. Like clearly there's something wrong, and it's mental. I don't think it's physical, and I'm already sick of it. And it's 5 games.
Do you think you can get to a point where they actually cut him? Because it doesn't make like any financial success or sense to cut him. It would just have to be like,
I think
we cannot continue to employ. We cannot. Yeah, it's financially irresponsible. Like I think it hurts them to cut him more than it does to just keep him. They probably throw him in like injured reserve or something. But could it get bad enough to where they'd actually move on?
It's interesting. I've had people that don't like off the field Butker say like, because you're missing kicks, all of it is problematic. And I have tried to explain to a few folks, and I'm not trying to be patronizing here, but like the unfortunate part is that the ownership thinks that those off the field Butker things are reasons to keep him. Oh, well, I mean, he's such a good guy. We got to keep him around, even if he's not making the kicks. Like, they're not going to care about the football part because they like the Butker of it all. So, I mean, look, I when we saw this start happening with Justin Tucker, it's because he was hiding something. Like, he was missing kicks and tanking as a football player before we knew what was going on. And look, I don't know if we're still on the conspiracy couch, but like Tucker went from the best kicker in the league to unemployable.
He's working out at Texas. Should we bring him in? Should we bring in Tucker? Dude, if we cut Butker and bring in Tucker, woo! I will just live on Twitter for the next 48 hours.
The Chiefs will become instantly.
I need those takes.
The like biggest villains ever.
I need that 48 hours of Twitter. I just need to read every single tweet that comes across. Let's move on. So another one. You said 3 errors on special teams. Were 2 of them penalties on kick returns?
Cochran holds that bring back returns. I mean, we had an 86-yard touchdown drive because of a penalty.
Okay. Yeah, so they just scored a touchdown on one of them. But yeah, the latter one, the late one, when they're still in good position here, I'm looking at it. So Richard returns it to the 36 with 16 seconds left. And I think they still have all 3 timeouts at that point. So you can probably get 3 quick plays in there. And you got to get realistically 30 yards. And that's safe. That's safe to a 52-yarder, which Butker can hit easily. 25 yards, call it. I mean, that is very doable. I was like, we are good. As soon as that return happened and I saw where he got to, he ran a straight line. He didn't run across the field to run off like 8 more seconds. I was like, great return, perfect return. That's what we needed. And Mahomes is going to do this. He's just going to complete 3 quick throws and we're going to have a field goal to tie this. We're fine. And then that penalty. And that was just like the final straw on top of everything else. And it was just like ultimate frustration with that one. That one blew my mind. And that was the first one I thought was a little questionable on the hold. The second one was definitely a hold, in my opinion.
It's about the placement of the hands or something. They got to be like
he's outside. He's grabbing. You can see him grabbing.
Yeah.
And so they can see that jersey pull and his hands on the outside.
Yeah. I mean,
the second one was pretty obvious to me.
I gotta say, both times there was a flag on special teams. I just assumed.
Butker.
And I'm like, okay, look,
you said what? Joshua Williams?
oh yeah, he's officially Pavlov's penalty flag for me. Like
Here's the ways on the kick return team.
on the first one that ended up not super hurting the Chiefs because they still drove the field and scored a touchdown. But on that first one, on the replay, when they're showing Cochran, suddenly Joshua Williams comes into the frame, and I'm like, I just knew that there was a problem. And it's, but hey, shout out Joshua Williams. No special teams penalties. That was all Jack Cochran's doing. The penalties as a whole, Dirk, if we want to just, if we're talking mistakes.
Do you want me to rant about pass interference? Because I'll do it.
I just think that 13 penalties plus, I would say probably the most controversial play of the game, Jaden Hicks just completely taking out the receiver that gives McDuffie the INT when we're down 21-14 and allows us to tie the game. Yeah. And that one's not called among all the ones that were called. Like the Chiefs have 13 penalties plus this really questionable play. And sidebar, by the way, look, they're a young team, but that doesn't have to mean that they're undisciplined. And Jawan Taylor is a veteran, all right? Like, he's not young, and he's got plenty of penalties. But by the way, when he got penalized, or at least they mentioned his name because our guy Tyqueek didn't cover, he was uncovered. It was a legal formation. Aikman warmly explained how it wasn't Jawan Taylor's fault.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, while he's talking about how so even though, he's the most penalized player, this one was not his fault.
Yeah.
All I heard was Dumb and Dumber, Lloyd Christmas, senior citizens, although slow and dangerous behind the wheel, can still serve a purpose. It's it was so funny to me that he was trying to undo what Chris Collinsworth had done. Hey, look, Jawante, he didn't do anything wrong.
Not his fault. Yeah, I was already typing out my tweet to explain it because I knew everybody would just flip their shit, and as they should at this point with hearing that number. But yeah, definitely not his fault on that one. No. I still don't understand. So that one on Hicks, I honestly don't know if that should be a penalty or not. I think it should, but it's kind of it's incidental because he's in man coverage and he's going out with this guy. So he's not trying to do that. But I also don't know if that matters because the ball's in the air and he hits the receiver who the ball is intended to. Mm-hmm. So there's kind of an incidental rule where if, he's not purposely trying to do that, he's just covering his end. So I don't know who has a right to that spot. Does the offense automatically have the right to that spot because the ball's in the air? Or does Jaden Hicks have a right to go out and cover his guy? Honestly, I don't know. And I will admit, I looked at the pass interference rules today and I still couldn't figure it out. I still don't know if that should be called out. I think it should, because I think the offensive player has the right to the ball and there's contact with the ball in the air. And so that should be a flag as far as I can tell.
Was the guy that Hicks hit the intended receiver? I don't think he was. He was?
Yeah. Because he's got, it's like a slant flat. He's going up the guy on the flat, and the guy's
spot, and the guy's
coming in on the slant, and he's just in his way, so he runs him over.
Yeah.
And then there's just it looks like Lawrence just throws it to nobody. But I think it should have been called out.
I saw people comparing it to that Saints play from the playoffs. Is that Saints Rams, right?
Yeah. I don't know why.
I didn't think it was the same vibe really at all. Should we talk about the final play? The last play?
Oh yeah, that happened. First instinct was it's the Andrew Luck play.
Oh yeah, I mean it reminded me more of Andrew Luck than Mariota throwing the touchdown to himself. But kept pointing out that 3 of the 4 AFC South teams have now done that shit to us. I mean, we're really just a CJ Stroud some weird shit away from all four of the AFC South teams. Just
really just
improbable touchdowns.
In my notes here, I got just Chiefs weirdness against the AFC South in general. Like 2002, losing that game to Matt Ryan and the Colts off that Chris Jones, unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. 2022 against the Texans when they were 1-11-1. The Chiefs actually won that game in overtime, but it was still like, why is this a game?
Mm-hmm.
The Titans, obviously, 2021 blew us out. 2019, weird loss that I mentioned earlier. Jags, this game, it's like Chiefs going to play at AFC South teams. Weird stuff happens. But yeah, that last play, because it's just like happening in slow motion, which was just like the Andrew Luck, and you're just watching it like, get the ball, get the tackle him, do something, do something, do anything, please something. And the Chiefs weren't doing anything. Obviously a lack of effort on that play. Chris Jones not doing anything. He took a lot of shit. Obviously it's not a good play. I saw Andy commented on it today, and he kind of said like that's unacceptable, essentially. Not what you want to see. It's frustrating because Chris has just not had a great season. And obviously that plays a terrible look. I don't know if he could have got there. I think he's probably hitting Trevor because Trevor cuts back at the very end. I think he's kind of laying the wood on him at that point is the most likely scenario if he's, if it's going all out. Did he delete his socials because of that play? Did we know it happened yesterday? I kind of asked.
Oh, I don't know if he did it like when it happened. I assumed it was just the cacophony of what the hell, man, that he just didn't want to look at it.
That's wild.
I gotta say, it's different because Chris Jones is 6'6", 315 pounds or something.
You wouldn't say it to his face?
No. He keeps himself in really great shape and everything.
I'll call out Butker to his face. I'm not saying it to Chris Jones's face. I'll tell you that much. Actually, Butker's a pretty big boy too. I don't think I'm saying it to him either. Maybe Cairo Santos. Maybe I'll say it to his.
Got to really go down the line. Dexter McCluster, bring it on. Look, this is almost reminiscent of the Cam Newton not going for the fumble play. I mean, you've heard every, possible, he had to stay in his rush lane. And I'm just like, we've seen that he doesn't care about his rush lanes. Look, I do believe, I don't know if it's in response to the play or in response to the response to the play, but he did delete his social media accounts, which, been there, bro. How couldn't
you have that embarrassing amateur hour? You had to delete all your socials before you. I remember that.
It's when I said that I would rather the Chiefs be 2-14 but sweep the Raiders than be 14-2 with our two losses being to the Raiders. That is when I had to delete my social media.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have made such a big deal. That's a good take.
I deserved it.
It's a good
fuck the Raiders. I have got to say though, look, I listened to Petro's podcast last night, and I thought he made a really great point about this that I haven't been able to get out of my head, to where, like, if I were a coach, this is probably like where my point of emphasis with Chris would be. Buddy, we're seeing guys drop the ball before they cross the end zone like every other day. Like it's like an epidemic right now, and you don't even pursue the ball. Like anything can happen in any given play. He could fumble again. He could trip again. If you don't even go near him like that, I don't know what to do with it, man. And I'm not in his position. I don't know all the context, and I'm not trying to make it sound like, it's really hard when it's like the last play of the game, essentially. You don't, because then it's like I can explain away how the dropped interception didn't cost the Chiefs the game. But it's really hard to be like, this play didn't actually cost the Chiefs the game, and yet it's the play that allowed the Jags to score and take the lead, and game over.
He was letting them score. It's
a tough scene, man, and a tough loss. I don't know, Dirk, where were you when the Josh Simmons pregame poop scare happened?
Hey, do you really want to know?
Poop.
I was having sympathy pains. No, Josh Simmons continues to dominate in a way that we can't even squeeze him into our weekly show here. So shout out to him. Actually, I'm gonna get some random stuff here.
Yeah.
Offensive line. Mahomes facing the 4th lowest pressure rate right now. I think that's the biggest turnaround in why the offense seems like it's really clicking right now, as opposed to how it's looked in the last couple of years past. But the cleanest pockets the last couple of weeks than we've seen in a long time. Pacheco Mojo watch. Kins. Pacheco.
Oh.
An old tweet going around this week from Jordan Lewis, maybe just
Jordan, I think.
Jordan. Current Jacksonville Jaguar. I forgot about this tweet, but this is peak Pacheco Mojo. Pacheco run like he bite people. That was peak Mojo for Pacheco. So I think we saw a return of it this week. I mean, both he and Kareem Hunt looked great. Kareem Hunt had his first 30-yard run since October 2021. That's a mind-blowing stat. 2021. Couldn't believe that. I triple-checked the year on that. So over 4 years ago, basically, was last time he got a 30-yard run. Pacheco had a long one in there too. He also had his helmet ripped off at one point and spikes his mouthpiece on the ground. You were talking about how he wanted to get up angrier. I kind of wanted to see that, so I was kind of making notes of it. Just kind of trying to get up angry early in the game. Just does that later. So his mojo swinging back here in a big way, in an important way, because if we can get that running game going once again, then the offense should continue to take out. The running game had the running backs had their best game of the season this game.
Easily the most Pacheco-esque that he's looked since he broke the leg. Like by far. I don't think he's looked anywhere near himself until Monday night. And, it also seemed like, maybe I'm wrong, and I could go look at the touches, but it's not that important. In terms of how it felt like Pacheco was leading the way in that room. Like he's the first guy that's going to get a touch, and when it's crunch time, he's who we're going to, not we're just riding the hot hand situation or whatever. It felt like they were emphasizing we are leading with Pacheco today. And I don't know again how the carries ended up evening out or whatever, but it really felt like a Pacheco game to me.
So they each had 7 carries, Kareem and Pacheco. I think Pacheco's clearly the one, but they just trust Kareem a lot more at the goal line and in short yardage situations, which is how it should be. That's exactly how it should be. They're getting Brashard Smith involved in there too. He's got a little juice, good promising signs for the running game, which is not been good lately. Not promising signs, and honestly, the biggest problem I have with this team going forward is the lack of pass rush. I thought it kind of reared its ugly head once again. Chris Jones usually just chewing up PFF grades. I know that's not everything, but you're not seeing the splash plays. Usually when that's the case, PFF's he's still in there dominating. They're just getting rid of the ball too quick, or some other stuff's happening. You just can't quite get home. PFF ain't seeing it either. So just not much from Chris Jones. He is, how old is he now? 31, I think. So there is the chance of some aging going on in here. But we really need him to step up because, he really needs to carry the pass rush. And the pass rush just needs to be better. We've run the stat with when the Chiefs are in the top 10 in sacks, they win the Super Bowl that year. And they might have good sack numbers, actually, because they keep getting sacks. But in general, they are not getting enough pressure on quarterbacks quickly enough. And they're just kind of sitting back there. And I think that's the biggest problem with how the defense looks right now. You know, kind of coupled with the slot cornerback, what they're doing there.
And I can't decipher one way or another whether this is a slow start to a season or the new normal for him. I heard that I don't think the grades themselves, in terms of like how they arrive at them, we don't have to parse all the PFF stuff, but maybe just for context sake, I think that he is ranked within a few spots of Mike Pennell. And then guys like Noddy and Tillery. I think Noddy is the lowest, like literally last place defensive tackle, and Tillery is in the bottom 8 or something like that. And defensive end wise, it's George, and then the rest of them are all near the bottom, Aminahu and Gelati. And so it used to kind of be like George and Chris are doing their thing, and then we have these other pieces that can help. And if you get a spike, from a Mike Dana or a spike from a Wharton or something that really lifts you. And right now it's George creating a lot of pressure, nobody really generating a whole lot of sacks, and ultimately not even really a whole lot of pressure from anyone other than George right now. George is the only guy that's ranked as like a starting level player, basically, as far as the PFF grades are concerned.
Yeah. You're just seeing the effects of burning a first round pick and getting 0 results from it. You're paying 3 veterans right now. I think George is still doing a good job. Ominahu has been bad for most of the season. I think he was pretty good in this game. I saw him get a couple pressures in there. Dana's nowhere to be seen. So paying 3 edge rushers and only getting production from one of them for most of the season, really, that's a tough look. They need Omar Norman Lott to get some juice in the inside. He's really only played 1 game, I feel like. So he might provide a spark at some point, but nothing right now. Gelati's eating up some snaps, but I'm not seeing much from him either. Like, I'm not down on him really, but you just need more across the board from everybody. And it really just turns into, okay, I guess we have to blitz. Which is working in some of these games, but then I felt like in this game they were blitzing and they just weren't quite getting to them in time. Like we weren't seeing the free blitzers like we were with Bolton against the Ravens. And so I don't know, that's just a better coaching job by the Jags than it is the Ravens, I guess you pin it up to, or just not as good of schemes from Spags or whatever you're going to say. But I felt like they were kind of bringing some blitzes in this one and not quite getting home. And they were kind of resort back to blitzing, which Spags likes to do. And I mean, it's been a big thing for the Chiefs, but you have to get there and you don't want to do it out of necessity. You don't want to have to be like, the only way we're going to get to this quarterback is to blitz, which is kind of where I feel like they're getting to in like each and every one of these games.
I don't know. Is their defensive line known for like all the games? Like the twists and the stunts and stuff. Like, is that something that we do?
I don't think so, no.
Because it's not blitzing, but it's trying to do something, right? Like it's a move that if you're trying to create pressure with 4 and maybe you're having trouble, well, maybe we need to try a little something else. I don't know. I mean, I'm just trying to think, because one of the big things I heard leading into Jacksonville is Trevor Lawrence is actually surprisingly one of the least blitzed quarterbacks in the league, because he's just proven time and time again that he's pretty good against the blitz. And so the Chiefs didn't want to send pressure at him too often. And I think Spags blitzed him a like definitely single digit number of times. And I think maybe like fewer than 5. We didn't blitz a lot.
In this game?
Yeah.
Really? Okay.
I don't think he sent that much pressure. I remember a couple times for sure. I could be totally wrong, but like I think the book on Lawrence is, this isn't one of the guys that you want to blitz, because he doesn't tend to panic in those situations the way that a lot of other quarterbacks do. He makes plenty of mistakes, obviously, but I don't think he's one of the guys that gets a lot of 5, 6, 7-man pressures.
Well, I think he was handling it well in this game when we did. I know his dime, probably maybe the best throw of his career, when he takes those 2 horrible sacks and just starts running clock on the start of that drive, and it's just like, what are you doing? And then just uncorks a absolute dive. One of the best throws you'll see all season. And that was like in the face of a blitz. And it's kind of like, that might have been a twist actually, because I think it's Omena who's kind of coming around the edge. So maybe it wasn't a blitz and it just kind of looked like it. But he's kind of coming around the edge, and like the right tackle, Anton Harrison, just barely clips him right before he's kind of able to throw. And it just kind of gave Lawrence just enough room to get that throw off. But yeah, I was kind of keeping my eye out for Bolton because we kind of gave him some props last week for getting through on these unblocked pressures. And I noticed when he was blitzing, he was just kind of getting caught up in the mess of the line, which not really flying through or anything. A couple other things I'm going to highlight, and then we'll get to Sports Nuts. Chiefs versus quarterback sneaks I thought was interesting because Josh Allen, there was a Bills game this week, and they're talking about, he always goes left, and why wouldn't he? Because he always gets it. And I was just like, are you guys oblivious to the fourth quarter, to the sneak that we stopped him on last year? And it was because he always goes left, and the Chiefs were just ready for it. You could argue we ended the tush push with the way we did things. That was kind of like the start of the end of the tush push. And now Lawrence, who likes to go over the top, which I wasn't really aware of. I mean, I maybe done it a few times, but apparently that's his thing. And just an otherworldly play by Nick Bolton to strip that ball. Man, I was fired up on that one. That was as good as it gets, just a heady play. And you could tell it was just something that they were ready for. Like, be ready for him to go over the top. And Bolton was just sitting there waiting for it. I'm going to fly in with fists and just punch this thing out. A beautiful play. But so a shout out here to Spags. We've shit on Spags, spagsed on shit a little bit. But the way they prepare for like quarterback sneaks is impressive.
Yeah. Man, that game, higher cursing quotient than normal from both of us today. Lose a game like that, and it's going to bring out the...
On the other hand, Chiefs versus quarterback scrambles becoming a real issue. Trevor Lawrence, career higher in scrambles, rush TD, and rush first downs in this game. Goes for 10 for 54 for 2. Herbert went 7 for 32. Hurts only 9 for 15. Russ 5 for 27, and Lamar 6 for 48. Quarterbacks running on the Chiefs defense becoming a problem. So,
I mean, let's see what Jared Goff has got. Okay.
We'll put into that real quick.
Then we've got a problem. I have a quick hitter and among your list just to get this off my chest.
Gotcha.
I might have to adjust my eyes a bit because Xavier Worthy's about to give me a heart attack with some of these injuries, man. When he was rolling around with that ankle, I'm like, oh my God. And he came back in. Did he finish the game? He finished the game, right?
He came right. He was like 2 snaps later. Yeah. I was like, oh man, he is done. He's going to be out a few weeks. He had the ankle coming in. I was ready to be just dejected. Yes, and it was like 2 snaps later, like, oh, Worthy's back in the game.
I think that at least this season, because of the shoulder, the potential for re-injury, he's not Xavier Worthy anymore. He's Xavier Worry. Sorry. It's just Xavier Worry. Not that you are unworthy, my friend. I think you're a great football player, and I'm excited to watch you play, but I Xavier Worry all year. That's just what he's gonna be. Xavier Worried. Okay.
I like it. Last thing here, and then we'll do Sports Nuts. The last time the Chiefs, Bills, and Ravens all lost in the same week. Week 9 of 2017. There was a combined 0 NFL snaps for Patrick, Josh, and Lamar at that time. Only Patrick was in the league. Josh Lamar joining the next week. But the 3 Titans of the AFC all go down in the same week. So I thought that was kind of interesting. Just kind of goes to a conversation we had earlier about the AFC, NFL being wide open. Also, underdogs went 9-5 straight up this week. Best record for underdogs in a week since 2017. Ooh. So another one. You want more? 17 games this season with a go-ahead score in the final minute of regulation, the most through 5 weeks of a season since the 1970 merger. So we are seeing more and more close games, the top coming down to the bottom, just incredible parity in the NFL right now. And it's hurting the Chiefs, who are sitting at 2-3. That's all I got.
All right, let's do some sports nuts.
Oh, boy. What a sports nut, huh?
Sports nuts!
So, Dirk, my sports nuts for this week I gotta tell you, things have changed, Dirk. Things have changed around here. So look, Monday night games are honestly just the worst possible scenario for me. I've had a work day, and then I got to squeeze this game in and squeeze in sleep and then have another work day right after it. Sunday night football is just, hey, I maybe lost an hour or two of sleep or whatnot, but like the Monday night crunch, trying to figure out dinner, volleyball, bath time, and about a dozen other things like before the game starts. Now look, I will admit that there are people that have been doing this for long enough that they're like, what are you talking about?
Amateur.
Exactly. Right. But here's the thing. I'm also raw dogging these games live. Okay. So like, I don't have any chances to press pause or rewind. I don't have NFL Game Pass to go back and watch a replay of anything. Like, look, it's been said that the Chiefs have been playing on all Madden because of how hard it is to sustain winning in this league. But I tell you what, it's pretty hard to keep up like this just watching games live with all of the things that are now distracting me in this house. And look, like for people like Seth, I mean, I don't even know how many children Seth has, but for him to be able to somehow, some way carve out the time and space to be able to do all that he does, that's a highly productive, literally and figuratively, I guess, highly productive man. Look, I just,
Lordy,
I'm missing moments in the games.
No.
Because there's just stuff, and I can't, I think I got to get back on the DVR life, man. It's been too long of just like, gotta get the antenna and turn it to channel 5.
Whoa.
And
I didn't know that still worked.
Oh,
What's an antenna?
That's how I've been watching games since I got rid of Direct TV. Like, I don't know, 12 years ago. Not that long.
I'm over here watching, I got the game on the bottom TV, and then I got a replay going on the top TV like 6 seconds later, so I can immediately after the play ends, I can look up and watch the play happen again. So
and red zone somewhere else, I'm sure, and all the,
Well, not on a primetime game like this, but yeah, typically red zone here. Typically red zone, but solo game like this, yeah, I got the replay go on the top TV.
Yeah.
We are living quite different lives when it comes to watching the Chiefs. I can't even imagine a world without DVR. I don't know. That sounds terrible.
Oh, dude, it's tough.
Can we get a GoFundMe going and get Ryan on DVR?
Do they even make them anymore? It's just the ability to press rewind because you have YouTube TV or whatever.
I think you can buy them.
Well, I guess I can still get cable, right? Like I could call up cable, right?
Hello, cable guy.
Does Spectrum still exist? I don't want cable, man.
Spectrum actually exists out here. I can't believe it. I don't know.
I don't know. Maybe one day I'll get back on that DVR life, but for now, I'm pretty nutty trying to watch these games through the DVR. I'm a sports.
I thought you were going to say you're missing moments in your daughter's life because you're watching the game so hard.
That too. That's
a sports nut.
Yeah.
Like I'm missing all these moments. Like she said her first word, and I was like, "You fucking kicked it out of bounds."
I quit that my daughter likes football more than my wife does. I'll just say that. We'll see.
All right. My sports nuts. It's going to be a quick one. Tough loss like that. Only one thing to do. Got to take a deep dive. Got to go on a walk.
Mm-hmm.
Got to walk it off. Got to get the thoughts going. Got to gather them. Step away. Don't look. Watch post game for a little bit. Looking at Twitter for a little bit, and then I'm stepping away. I got to not looking at anything for a while. Alone with my thoughts. Playing a Dirk's big thing. All this. Cheer myself up. It's nice outside. Nice night. Out for a stroll. Can hear the ocean. It's beautiful. Turn around. Walking back. Splat. right into a pile of dog shit. I stepped right in pile of dog shit, and I knew it. I could hear it. I could hear like the sound,
the squelch.
I was like, oh, that doesn't sound good. And then take another step, and I'm like, yep, something's definitely on the bottom of the shoe here. And then look down, yep, there it is. So I don't know what the life was in here. Sometimes when it rains, it pours. But man, I splatted it good. I was like, that seems about right after the game we just watched. So yeah, that's the whole sports news I got. It was just a random moment.
I wonder if
really shit on me at the end of my parade. Really shit my cereal? Is that it? Kristen, your cereal?
Pete, who peed in your Wheaties?
Your Wheaties
is how people usually phrase that.
Somebody shit in my Wheaties.
I don't eat Wheaties, so I don't.
Me neither. Who the hell would eat Wheaties?
Never had that problem. Well, this has been another episode of Amateur Hour, folks. I'm Ryan Scott Hall. He's his Dirkness. I'm sure a lot of people are talking about Chiefs Lions. It is Sunday night football. I will point out the one thing I want to point out about this game that gives me a little optimism. I hear that they have two corners out indefinitely. Terry and Arnold, their first round pick from last season, as well as DJ Reed, he of Kansas State and New York Jets fame, that signed with the Lions this offseason, was really, I think, like the linchpin for we have to solidify our secondary after all the trouble that they had last year. And they are both out indefinitely. So, Lions playing some of the best football of anybody coming in, and the Chiefs defense is going to have a tall task for sure to try to slow them down. The offense played well against the Jaguars, but that Lions defense, even without those corners, is a different story. So we'll see.
Have ourselves an old-fashioned shootout here.
I think we might be in for it.
Chiefs offense coming back. Chiefs defense a little on the downswing.
Mm-hmm.
Lions, I don't know if they're the highest scoring team in the NFL, but they got to be up there. A big time week one stinker, but they've been putting up 30 plus in every other game. I'm sure they are lighting it up. So yeah,
6, right? They're 2-3. Chiefs are 2-3, right?
Yep. You can fall to 2-4.
It's the last one without Rasheed.
Yeah. You play the Raiders the next week, which is a must win. You definitely should win that game, but it's always tough to be in a must win situation. You don't want to be 2-5 going. Mm-hmm. Looking at 4 playoff teams in the next 4 weeks after that.
Look, it's the first of 3 straight at home. Like these are, you should beat the Raiders every time. The Commanders are unpredictable. A little worried about Jaden if he's healthy and running.
They can beat anyone. If he's on his game, they can beat anyone. That's for sure.
But because of that Jags loss. Like you want to actually show people that we're back instead of the snip, snap that we had to do all night against the Jags. Are they back? Are they not? Who knows?
we may jump the gun on that on the back department.
Right. You want to show people that you're back? Beat the Lions. Okay. And you really want to show them that you're back? Win these 3 straight at home and then head out to Buffalo. With a 2 games above 500 record, right? You're getting to walk into Buffalo at 5-3, knowing that you still have a road game against Denver, a couple weeks later. Like there's some tough stuff coming up. They need to take care of business in these games. Chiefs Lions, big time stuff, folks. We'll see how it goes. I am Ryan Scott Hall. He is his Dirkness, and the Chiefs are rolling on.
Bye.